Hi, I'm Crystal McDaniel, and this is Tony Award winner Eugene Brancoveanu, who is also my dear friend. And this video is how to sing part 4, tongue agility. Between Eugene and I, we have a Tony Award, an Ovation Award, and over 65 years of stage experience. We know what we're talking about. We both have instructed hundreds of students who have had success personally and professionally on the stage.
In this video, we will show you a series of exercises that will allow you to sing with far less tension in your jaw and regain control over what you're saying, so that essentially it will lead to much greater singing.
This will give you less tension and help you have the voice that is more authentically you.
Remember, as we give the information in this video, to leave a comment below, and also we'd love to hear your questions and thoughts. All right, let us hear from you. It is always important for young singers and students to understand to what end an exercise is important. So today we're talking about tongue agility. It seems self-explanatory, but I want to go into the matter a little deeper. If you compare the tongue with the jaw, two parts of the body that are so incredibly closely linked, the tongue is made of pure muscle, while the jaw is made of pure bone, only connected between the upper and the lower jaw by ligaments called mandibulars or mandibular ligaments. They can hold a lot of pressure, but they also fatigue very easily. Whereas the tongue can do all sorts of acrobatics and doesn't really ever fatigue. We sometimes get cold sores, but those are the very different reasons why we get those. So here's a sequence of letters in the Latin alphabet that you can use pretty much in any language that you will sing. And I'd like you to try doing this exercise with me. So please put 2 fingers onto your jaw. Release the jaw, making sure that the hand is not used as a hook to put weight onto the jaw, to keep the jaw open. So essentially it's just like a gentle sensor, so you can feel what the tongue is doing. The aim of this exercise is to keep the jaw loose at all times and release, so that the tongue itself does all the work. We're going to do 3 levels of articulation exercise. First, the tip of the tongue, then the tip of the tongue with the center part of the tongue, and then tip of the tongue and tongue root. So let's start with level 1. 2 fingers onto your jaw. Repeat after me. La. La. So that was the letter L. Next one would be letter N. Na. Na. Notice how my tongue moves up and down, the jaw stays calm. Best to do this exercise in front of a mirror so that you can really pay attention to whether the jaw is biting or grabbing at you. If so, slow down the exercise until you can execute the exercise without the jaw having any kind of impact. And remember, not to use the hand to pull the jaw down. The next letter would be da. 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 Then let's do ta. Ta. So far we've had L, N, D, and T. As we progress, the letters will become harder and harder to articulate. Just as if you went to the gym and you start with 10-pound weights, you will feel a slight impact. 15-pound weights, a little bit more. 20, 25, and so forth. But it's always about calm execution and making sure that the body gets what it needs. Next one is the rolled R. Ra. Ra. If some of you do not know how to roll your R, then please try to do this exercise. If you do this exercise long enough, eventually the tongue will begin the kind of flip that you need to roll your R, okay? Plus you're already training and retraining 2 of the very important tongue agility consonants, TH and T. TH is the consonant that we're going to now. So again, 2 fingers onto your jaw. We're going to say ra, ra. With all of these consonants, I want you to develop almost a kind of a taste for each of these guys, okay? Let's review real quick. La, na, da, ta, ra, ra. Again, if you do not know how to roll your R, you go and if you associate that with one of those old car engines that you have to spin, it's very much like that. That is tip of the tongue. As we said before, the tip of the tongue is made up of several million bits and pieces of muscle, but the ones that we can actually control are threefold. Tip of the tongue, center of the tongue, and the tongue root. Of those three parts, the tip of the tongue sees the light of day pretty frequently as we talk. If you pay attention, you can see the tip of my tongue bouncing around in there. But the center part of the tongue hardly ever gets released. Not to mention, tongue root is never released forward. And where do those live? In the back of our throat. So if we can gain control of these muscles, then we will be able to release the tongue forward in training and in practicing much more, and you feel a much more easier access into your column and more air coming. Now here's level 2 of the same exercise that we've done. At first we went la, na, da, and so forth. Now let's do a double flip, and we're going to release the tongue forward much like a panting dog. So it's going to look like that. Again, 2 fingers onto your jaw. La la, na na, da da, ta ta, ra ra, za za. You can also, if you like, add a second vowel. You can do la la, le le. That is a double flip, tongue root curl, tongue root release. Now let's go to level 3. We're going to triple the flick of the tip of the tongue, and then we're going to place the tip of the tongue behind the lower teeth and allow the tongue root to curl forward, like so, creating quite a bit of tension and muscle stretch in the back of your tongue root. Imagine this being my tongue root. And you will feel that at first the tongue root is going to resist you quite a bit, because the natural position of the tongue is inside of our mouth. That's where most of us who are not singers, even if we are singers, we spend most of the time with our tongue inside of our mouth. So here we go. La la la, na na na, da da da, ta ta ta, ra ra ra, za za za. And for those of you who do not roll your R, you just go straight to TH. There is a phrase in Bizet's Carmen in the second act for the aria that the Toreador sings, and the words are Toreador en garde. And this is one of those few phrases that is entirely made up of consonants and vowels that can be shaped by the tongue, by the tip of the tongue, rather than the jaw. So please watch this. Toreador en garde, Toreador, Toreador. Notice how I was able to sing all of these words, all of these syllables, with seemingly no impact of the jaw. These ligaments between the upper and the lower jaw are not meant to do all this kind of stuff during articulation and to stay released. Of course they can chomp away, just like any animal we can eat and eat and eat, but you will feel a fatigue building up. And the more you fatigue these muscles, they will then have an effect to here, and what lies here, of course, is the larynx, and almost instantaneously, or after a very short amount of time, you will feel the larynx starts to rise, the muscles will begin cramping up, and the larynx can then no longer drop and do its pivoting motion for that oscillating movement that the vocal folds need. But of course, we cannot expect composers and librettists to write operas and musicals purely made up out of words that can be shaped by the tip of the tongue. So here's another exercise that I'd like you to try that will help you be able to have one syllable purely articulated with the tip of the tongue. Then you're using not just the lips, but maybe the jaw as well. So I've come up with these following sentences. This time without the hand on your jaw. And just look in the mirror and say for me, Lambert lingers lazily. And this is of course English, but I want you to be very specific with all the R letters in English. Because everybody who's watching, please say for me, R. And identify where the tongue ends up. There's no way to say R without the tongue curling back and hooking, almost like a reverse tsunami wave as if it's coming at you. So we want to limit the amount of times that we have to expose the tongue to that kind of position. So say for me again, Lambert lingers lazily. Just as with many other languages, the way you speak it and the way you sing it is completely different. So we are essentially over-Britanizing English as much as possible to the point where we actually pronounce it almost like an Italian speaker. The next phrase would be, while Nancy nudges noses nefariously. And the next one would be, Daniel delivers donuts daily. You hear me say delivers as opposed to delivers. With this, that, and the other. Pay also close attention to connecting the voice consonants like to the a. With this, that, and the other, as opposed to with this, that, and the other. It's little hidden impacts on the chords, glottal attacks. The next one would be vilified, vipers visit violent villages. It is important to understand that after every syllable, you never need to let yourself be held hostage by just the word that you're saying, but you can always slip in a little bit of release. The next one would be modest mummies mixed milkshakes mildly into the morning meal. Did you hear me say morning as opposed to morning? Morning. We want to stay away from morning. Okay. The next one would be Ricardo rumbled royally, roughhousing the rights of the riches. If you do not roll your R, try saying it, Ricardo rumbled royally, roughhousing the rights of the riches. The next one would be tigers tiptoed teasingly, terrifying the trembling tailor. And finally, which is one that usually makes people giggle, the woolly wolves of Woodside were withering away, or you can also be extra British and go, were withering away, while we were watching, wearing woolly wool coats. The reason why whoop is important, if you place your hand in front of your mouth and you go whoop, you will feel like a little turbine going, and air equals energy. Air is the singer's element. All of the technical mumbo jumbo will fall apart if there's not this crude raw material, air flowing through our body. This is pretty much it. Try doing these exercises, and then the songs that you're working on with the same principle, the same way of slowly speaking through. You will identify on which syllable and which word you might find you have the biggest tensions and the biggest grabs in the jaw. And by releasing those tensions, it's half of the rent, and you're on your way of singing much more efficiently and much more connectedly.
Thank you for watching How to Sing Part 4 Tongue Agility. Eugene and I will be doing more tutorial videos in the future. We do a tutorial every single Friday right here on the McDaniel Music Studios channel. Please make sure that you comment with your questions and your favorite parts of what you learned today. Your thoughts can help someone else. Also remember to hit the like button because we like it when you like us. Share the video with your friends, help them become better singers, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel because we're trying to get to 100% subscribers and we have a contest. You could win a free t-shirt, so make sure that you do that. And remember, believe in your voice.
Liver lovers live longer by loving liver.
By loving liver.
That's well, you don't like liver.
No, I hate liver.
French call it pâté.
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 Yeah, like, which is not potty.
Yeah,
pâté.
pâté.